Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to explain to you the procedure of writing the practicum on achievement test for course 1.3.7b subject English. At the very beginning, you have to write a brief introduction on what is achievement test, the concept. Then you have to write the importance of achievement test, a few points on that. Then the types of achievement test, the steps for conducting an achievement test. Then you have to write the statement of the practicum, which is exactly the statement that is given in your syllabus book. As I have written, one achievement test construction. And objectives of this practicum will be to construct an achievement test on second language. You can write in bracket English. Then you have to paste the text. Okay, on the left hand side, you can paste the text. Today, for explanation purpose, I have taken the text Summer Friends for class 8 Blossoms, written by Mary Lamb. And now we come to the basic template of achievement test. The introductory part is over. So now we have come to the basic body of the practicum. In the very beginning, you have to write down the subject, which is English. It can be poem or prose or grammar or composition, whatever you're doing. In my case, I've taken a poem, so I've written English poem. Then unit will be the name of the chapter. If specifically you have unit 1, 2, 3, you can do that. Specifically, you can write that. Marks, I have taken 25 marks. I've given time of 1.5 hours. And I've mentioned the date. You just fill it up. Then the name of the student, class and roll number. These are to be filled up by the students. Now we come to the general instructions. These are the few instructions that we generally give to the students when they are writing an achievement test. Say, for example, do not copy the questions or answer in your own words as far as possible. Then marks will be deducted for spelling and grammatical errors, or write as per word limits given. These common instructions you have to write down. Then you have to give the table of specification based on objective numbers. I'll explain that to you in details. Based on objectives. As you know, this is the basic structure of the revised Bloom's taxonomic table. And here the numbers over here, they indicate the objective numbers. Okay. Then soon after this, you can paste this on the left hand side page also. And on the right hand side, you can write down the instructional objectives in behavioral terms, wherein you first begin with the students will be able to, and then you divide it into 3 segments, that is reading comprehension, grammar and vocabulary, and writing skill. And the numberings that are given over here, as you see, they are exactly based on the question numbers that have been given. See, this is the question paper, the criterion reference test. These numbers corroborate exactly with these numbers. As you can see, each objective has both the dimensions mentioned here, and accordingly their numbers have been placed here. Okay, so then you have, say for example, the first 3 of them are based on remembering factual knowledge. Okay, recall the meanings of textual words, then textual information. This you have to write this specifically, right? So in that case, construction of achievement test becomes easier if you sit with first the questions and the objectives simultaneously. Apparently, the objectives are to be fixed earlier, and then the questions are to be said. But if you do them simultaneously, it becomes more convenient. For example, if you write here, write the meaning of the word mischance. Over here, you can write simultaneously, recall the meanings of textual words. So then this way you can just construct the question and the related objective simultaneously. That helps you maintain your order in an organized way. Okay, so in this way, I have written down the objectives based on the questions that I have given. And beside each objective, I have also written down beside each objective, I've written both the dimensions. Sorry, here by mistake a question mark has come. This question mark will not come. These will be all in the form of statements. All right. And remember, you should not make mistakes based on the action verbs. These action verbs must be exactly as permissible under each criterion. All right. Now we come to, so you divide them into these three segments, because the questions also have to be set according to reading comprehension, grammar and vocabulary, and writing skill. Now this is the bigger picture, that is the table of specification based on question numbers and marks. Now note here you have, this is also the basic structure of the revised Bloom's taxonomy. The only difference is that in each of these dimensions, there are these types of questions mentioned. That is objective type, very short answer type, and essay type. Alright, here because we have a 25 mark paper, here this I have written this total marks is 25, and so total percentage you have to calculate as per your allotment. So you have to note down. See, here it is written, the numbers outside the brackets indicate the question numbers and the numbers inside the brackets indicate the marks. So here, as you have set the question paper and accordingly, okay, you have set the question paper accordingly. So these question numbers and marks will be put over here. Right. So objective type questions usually have 1 mark. Very short answer type questions might have 2 marks. Short answer type questions might vary. It depends upon what your total marks is. So you can have short answer type questions, you can have a 3 mark question or maybe a 4 mark question. In my case, I have taken 3 marks questions. Essay type questions might differ again. Here, in my case, the highest marks allotted is 4 marks, but usually essay type questions can range from 4 to 10 marks. Depends upon your total marks on which you are you're constructing the question paper. So this side, if you note, these are the dimensions, knowledge dimensions. And here also you make a total. In each of these dimensions, see, remembering, under remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. In each case, you have to do a total calculation of your marks allotted. Okay. And then you have to calculate the percentage of it. Here also you have to write down the total marks allotted and then the percentage of it and calculate and see if it's coming to 100% or not. So this total must come to 25 marks since I have given a 25 mark paper here. Alright. So please ensure that when you are writing your questions, your objective numbers and your question numbers must corroborate. Otherwise, this blueprint, as we call, or table of specification, will have mistakes or errors. Alright. So here, when you are allotting the marks over here, or you are making this table of specification, try to make sure that your test items are distributed. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be, if you don't have your questions in all the dimensions mentioned, then it will not be a very balanced test. Alright, so in that case, your table of specification based on question numbers and marks, this is your second table of specification, and this table of specification was based on only the objective numbers. Alright, so when you have the objective numbers written here, then based on that you write the question numbers and the marks allotted here. Don't forget to write this part, that the numbers inside the brackets indicate the question numbers outside the brackets, and those numbers inside the brackets are the marks allotted. Now we come to the criterion reference test, where again we have divided it into three sections, that is reading comprehension, grammar and vocabulary. Here you can, if it's based on a prose, you have to give a small extract of the prose and then give the answers, because in second language English we mostly teach reading comprehension, and if it's a poem, in this case you can also give the excerpts of the poem and then start giving the questions. Now, I have mentioned over here both the dimensions of the objectives. You may or may not mention the objectives. It is not mandatory to mention the objective dimensions here, but I have mentioned them because it will be convenient to for you to identify and put them in the table of specification if you mention them here. Alright, but if you give a question paper to the students, if it's a language paper or a question paper given to the students, please make sure that you do not mention these dimensions to the students. So students need not see this. This is meant for the teachers. So if it's just a worksheet or a question paper that you're preparing, you don't need to mention these dimensions. In this case, I have written the dimensions because this will help you to tally it with the objectives. All right. So in this way, I have set a few questions based on the text. You have some questions based on remembering factual knowledge, then understanding conceptual knowledge, and then you have analyzing conceptual knowledge also, 2 questions based on that, and then one evaluate conceptual knowledge. Then for grammar, I have given some questions on applying conceptual knowledge, because whatever you concept you acquire in grammar, you apply the same when you are doing the exercises. And then transformation of sentences, here I have given them under procedural knowledge, because there's a procedure that you need to follow for transforming the sentences. They might also come under conceptual knowledge, but in this case I put them under the procedural knowledge. So I have given a few transformation of sentences, and then make sentences with, this is going to come under create conceptual knowledge. All right, and writing skill, for writing skill I have given write a brief paragraph on my true friend. Now let me tell you something. In this case things are very confusing as to in which the question comes in mind, how do I know which dimension I'm going to put this into. Now you see this, you try to ask yourself what the students are expected to do. In this case, usually what I suggest is, when you give them questions or compositions wherein they need to introspect, self-introspect, they need to delve inside themselves and write something personal. For example, my favorite journey, my true friend, okay, an incident I remember forever. So these are very personal things. In such cases, I usually add metacognitive knowledge. All right. So that is create metacognitive knowledge. In case of make sentences, in case of creative writing, it's always create. All right. But when you are writing, suppose you ask them, if it's a story writing thing, there also the procedural knowledge is also involved, definitely. But then metacognitive knowledge is predominant. Here, when in certain times you might have more than one dimension. For example, you write create metacognitive the procedural knowledge, all 3 of them. But in case of achievement test, you cannot afford to write more than 2 dimensions, because you are supposed to put them into the table of specification. Unless and until they are of 2 dimensions, it will be confusing. So in that case, what I do is, if I'm giving a general topic, say for example Diwali or festivals of India, theoretical kind of topics or ideas which you have on something which are not very self-introspective type, for those I suggest my students to put them under create procedural knowledge. And for those, or if any strategy has to be given, so that in that case procedural knowledge. But if it is something that is related to their personal opinion or their personal experience, then I suggest them to put it under create metacognitive knowledge. All right. So this way you like in case of English, for example, all word meaning related questions will come under remembering factual knowledge, right? So explanation type of questions where they are straightforward, they will come under your understanding conceptual knowledge, because they have to first, that will be based on their understanding of the concept of the lesson. All right. Then if they are analyzing something, giving reasons for the answers, analytical questions, they will come under analyzing conceptual knowledge. All right. So if they are justifying something, appraising something, evaluating something, they will come under evaluate conceptual knowledge. So always ask yourself what the students are expected to do. Okay, that will give you the clue as to how to divide them into different dimensions. Then after the question paper, you are supposed to write down the answer key. The exact answer key you have to write. In case of creative writing, you may write just answers may vary, or you may give them a sample if you want. It is not mandatory, because of course each student will write it in his or her own way. Like in case of make sentence also, here I have given a make sentence sample, but it might vary. So in such cases, you might write answers may vary, or else you might, if you want, you can give them a sample answer as well. And then finally, you have to write down the references. References for what? For the introductory part where you had written this introduction on these portions. What is achievement test, types, steps, all these things. For that, you need references. All right. So this is the overall structure of achievement test. Let me just recapitulate it a little bit for you. This is first you have to begin with certain theoretical aspects of what is achievement test, importance, types, steps, etc. Then statement of the practicum, objectives of the practicum, paste the text. All right. Then you come to the main body, wherein you give them the blank spaces to fill up. That is the details regarding the chapter and the time, the hours, the class, name of the student, roll number, date, etc. Give them the general instructions. Then place the table of specification based on objectives. Then go for instructional objectives in behavioral terms. Divide them into 3 segments: reading comprehension, grammar, and vocabulary. Do the numbering as per question paper set, the question numbers. Let the objective numbers tally with the question numbers. Okay. Then you give the table of specification based on question numbers and marks, which is going to be a bit in details, wherein also you calculate the total marks and the total percentage of marks. And then here also you divide each of the cognitive process dimension factors, that is remember, understand, all these things, into 4 types, that is objective type questions, very short answer type questions, short answer type questions, or essay type questions. All right. Then you go for the main question paper. We write this criterion referenced test. Please remember to put the D after reference. Many people write only reference. It's referenced test. Okay. Criterion reference test. There, under that, you have to put the first section, reading comprehension. If it's a prose, you have to write 3 to 4 lines of an excerpt from there and the passage. And then based on that, you have to give the questions. If it's a poem, you write an excerpt of it and then you give the questions. Again, I'm repeating the same thing. When you are setting this question paper, you may or may not write the objective dimensions. It is not mandatory to write the objective dimensions here. I have written them for the sake of convenience. But if you are giving a worksheet to the students, you need not write that. All right. So this is a basic question paper divided into 3 segments. And this is the answer key that I have given based on the questions that I have set. And finally, you write down the references. All right. So this is basically the structure for writing an achievement test. You have to give a 25-mark paper, question paper, and you have to write it in this exact format. I hope I have been able to make you understand. Thank you so much.